Good morning, John Neal here. It's Friday the 23rd of February 2024 and I'm going to be looking closely at the plans for a cycleway along Hinckley Road and the Longshoot. But before, let's have a look at this traffic. Look, this is, wow, coming down Home Lane.
Before I go any further, let's just watch one or two cyclists, I think most of them college students, trying to negotiate the traffic on the roads because there is no separate cycleway for them. And while we're at it, let's have a look at how many vehicles have only got one person in them. It turned out that every car virtually had only one person in it. And just to ease the burden, I did stop at 20, but here's a bit of music just to entertain you as we do it.
It took 20 cars to go by before I spotted one with two people in.
Okay, it's time for a confession. I know that many people have to drive their car on their own to get to work. I actually did it for about 6 years, driving 17 miles to Rugby. So I know it's not a sin, but a lot of people might be able to share cars or at least maybe go on a bike to get to wherever they're going.
So the vast majority of the vehicles this morning seem to have just one person in them. Think of replacing all these cars with just one person at a time.
Here I'm cycling on the path up the side of the old Hinckley Road. It's not designed for cyclists, but it's pedestrians, and this is where a lot of people are riding their bikes because there's nowhere else to go. And you can see the pedestrians are sort of in my way, or I'm in their way. It's not particularly well maintained, it's dirty, and there are potholes.
Well, I'm here at the junction of the Weddington Road and the old Hinckley Road, and all the traffic coming from Weddington has to come round here and then eventually join the rest of the traffic from the Longshoot and Home Lane to get over the bridge because the railway's there.
One of my observations is not only here, where there is obviously signs for cyclists on the road and on the signals, but it's a mixed bag and it doesn't seem to be joined up. Here again we have on the Hinckley Road somebody trying to cycle to college, I think, and yeah, doing the best they can on the pavement.
Well, this is the Hinckley Road and it's a full 10 metres across. There are no significant trees on this side because one of the issues was that a cycleway put down here would interfere with the trees. Most of the trees here are on the other side of the road, so we'll see what's going on up there. But I've seen a number of people, particularly going to the college actually, coming all across on bikes. So there are cyclists, and I think there will be a lot more, and better for everybody, for the environment in particular, and for the traffic, if there was more provision for cyclists, which would encourage more cyclists. At the minute, you're really taking your life into your own hands. And I think there's any opportunity to put a cycleway here, or this way.
And so just on cue, there's another cyclist negotiating a pedestrian on the pavement.
Right here, I've just come onto the Longshoot, which is the extension of the Hinckley Road, if you don't know. And this is the roundabout where it joins with Eastborough Way. A lot of new houses here. I'm going to have a look over there and up here in a while to see what provision there is for cyclists, because there is none along here. In fact, the speed limit along here is 40 miles an hour. and again, any number of single occupancy cars, one person per car, is going by. That's quite interesting. And even, oh, there's two. Hello. So along here there are no trees really in the way. There's space there for a cycleway, and along here there are no major trees, unlike, let's say, Higham Lane. Along here, where this path, which is for pedestrians as well, and there's a pathway over the other side, look, that could be a cycleway.
This will be the right time to show you the plans drawn up by the Warwickshire County Council, which I have to say are very extensive. And the date on this document is February 2021, so 3 years old. Let's have a closer look at these plans. The top half shows Eastborough Way along to the middle of the Longshoot, and the bottom one carries on from the middle of the Longshoot to the junction with Watling Street by the Longshoot pub. The key on this drawing shows the proposed cycle track, and one which is then shared with the cycleway, and the proposed footpath, and the existing footpath retained, and then the existing new one which is there already, which is from the new buildings really, and then the curb line and the grass verge and the existing trees. I'll leave the plans in full view here. I suggest you stop the video for a moment and zoom in as best you can and have a look at the details.
And we have cyclists symbols on here, so I'm presuming, and I'm pleased to see, that it may be that the new estate here down Greendale Road has got provision for cyclists. I'll have to look later on. But first, let's press on down here, because yes, this extra wide footpath, and there's a sign saying cyclists in a triangle. Thank you. There you have the problem. It's a narrow footpath. Pedestrians are on it, and it was just me and that lady, but you've got to be careful. Right, we're now at the junction with Leghorn Road, and I'll be interested to see what's going on down there, but first let's carry on along here, and more cyclist signs, nice wide stretch here, again for about 50 yards, and then I must admit a fair number of trees. So let's have a look at the problem from here to the Longshoot pub. Alright, 1, 2, 3 big trees there. And 3 more here as well. The speed limit on here is 40. It is long and straight and it's fairly wide, I must admit, but there are plans also to reduce this to 30, which would be a good idea. After all, it's 30 along the Weddington Road and Higham Lane, which are similar routes. But there's a number of trees here, but I'm still thinking that we should be able to put a cycleway along it. It's really quite a stretch from here, the curb, to the front of the houses and the gardens. There are some trees here, but leave them there and just go around them. I'll be happy to do that. I'll just go on a little further and see what trees are right at the top here. Well, I'm just looking across to the junction with the A5, which is the top end of this plan for the cycleway, and I really cannot see a problem here. This is the footpath. That could be made wider up to here, up to these trees, I don't see what the problem with the trees is, which was mentioned to me. So, right, I'm going to double back and have a look at the new housing estates, because a major factor in this discussion is the fact that there are thousands of houses here, and the traffic is just going to get worse, and a proper cycleway would certainly help the problem of excess traffic. Davison's Homes, Manor Fields, Sunburst Drive. Let's see what we've got down here. There's quite a wide footpath for a start, and there's no footpath over the other side. Let me go up on this footpath as such and see what we can see. Well, I have to admit it's a very wide footpath here and easy to cycle on. But there again, these roads are not too difficult. Now, what's going on here? These water retention spots and a nice little ride through to here. To be honest, I'm just randomly checking out what pathways and cycleways there are. They're not marked as cycleways as such, but they would certainly accommodate both pedestrians and cyclists, because they've got to be about 4 meters wide, possibly 5. And this brings me back onto the road again with a pretty wide section to ride my bike along. If I was living on one of these houses and wanted to cycle into town, this would be a pretty good route, pretty safe.
I have to admit, from here on in, I just got hopelessly lost in this housing estate. So let's cut through to what this video is really all about. 2 places I think that people might want to get to. One of this is the station, and the other one is the North Warwickshire, South Leicestershire College, which you've got here. They've got a big bike park look, and I've seen a number of youngsters coming along here to get to the college. Let's just suppose one of the residents in these new houses wanted to come to the town centre, get on a train and commute, let's say, to Birmingham or London even. It would cost, look, £64.95 a month. That's over £700 a year just to park. Likewise, here at the railway station, it would cost £864, 30 pence, to have a season ticket for the whole year. And here in the long stay car park near Dunelm, Regent Street, 24 hours would be £5.50 and £4 for 4 hours. That's going to be well over £700 to park for the year. So finally, let's have a look at the facilities if you did come along on a bicycle, where here are 4 racks for locking a bike against with a covered area over the top. Okay, good. And inside the station on platform 1, there's a whole row here of bike racks that you could lock your bike against. I'm not sure if there's any cameras watching them. I wouldn't put a very expensive bike there, but they're there anyway. But here's a good one. This is quite amazing. There's a machine here.
Well, this is amazing. Look, it's a multi-tool. This is on the deluxe repair station. There's a pump your tyres up, some spanners, a tyre lever, and a place to hang your bike to get it ready. Brilliant provision for cyclists. But these, I think they've somewhat gone past it. Sad looking sight. This is at Nuneaton station, and there is some provision for cyclists, which is good. This is Meadow Green, apparently. Now, if you to drop me here and say, where are you in Nuneaton, I would not have a clue, because this was, I don't even know which big field I would now be stood in. There's a road going ahead. I've just lost my perspective altogether. My bearings, I've got no idea where I am, but just to show that these trees are important, if there are, look at the size of this one. And it's been built around, which has meant that there is quite a wide road here. Often, you know, the houses are packed in quite tightly, which they are, but there's a big frontage, which is fantastic. And you can see these, they're not just pathways, they are cycleways. Surely, so easy to cycle along. So I'm pleased about that. And with electric bikes, it is so much easier to cycle and not get hot and sweaty. Other countries do it. I know it's a popular reference, but Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and other countries on the continent all managed to arrange for cyclists to go about the town. And indeed, places like London, not that people have just preferred it, they've done it because it's an absolute necessity, because the traffic there is so bad. The quickest way to get around London is to be on a bike. So all we've got to do here is think ahead and say, right, we will encourage cyclists. We will have cycleways, and we'll have them on the main roads and straight into town where most of this traffic would end up going. So why that planned cycleway along the Hinckley Road and Longshoot is not being brought into operation when there are millions of pounds put aside for it, it's beyond me.
It is now Monday, the 26th of February 2024, and just out on the internet from the Coventry Live newspaper, it announces this. Works to tackle Nuneaton's notorious traffic-clogged ring road have been dealt a funding blow. Several major road projects which form part of the Transforming Nuneaton programme have had cash pulled from them. Also, the Weddington Road cycle lane link, which I hadn't mentioned. In explaining the decision, Councillor Sam Croft, Cabinet Member for the Finance for the Town Hall, said that they had become increasingly concerned about the impact of high inflation and high interest rates, and so on. Well, I knew money was tight, and in fact, some councils here in Britain have gone bankrupt and are on the edge of going bankrupt. So it is a serious matter, and yeah, so any developments that I'm thinking of, we're just gonna have to live with. They ain't gonna happen. So the traffic, the cycleways, the vision for the future, all not only in the balance, they pull the plug. What can I say? That's it. We'll have to see how things go on from here. Well, thanks for watching the video. I don't know where to go from this. Oh dear. So yeah, you will see me in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.